is, and that's again why we hope some of you will talk to pivotal senators. The ones that we're talking. Who
are the people that are inclined to get on board with that?
This is not an easy sell. So the ones we've been approaching and have had good conversations with are the 3 physicians in the Senate, any one of whom would be a wonderful Senate sponsor. And that's Stephen Dickerson, Joey Hensley, and Dr. Green's first name is Chaz, do you know? Mark, Dr. Mark Green. We also have 2 pharmacists, Earl Hale and Randy McNally in the Senate.
Mark Green?
Right. We have a sponsor in the Senate. We are asking that sponsor to hold off in hopes that we can get a Republican sponsor in the Senate, because we know full well unless this bill is sponsored in a bipartisan way, it will go nowhere. So we do have a sponsor, but again, we're holding out for it.
Who are the Republicans in the Senate that would be inclined to get on board with that?
The ones I'm recommending you talk to are the 5 I just mentioned, the 3 physicians and the 2 pharmacists.
Which one of the 3 of the physicians are Republicans? Are they all Republicans?
They're all Republicans.
They're all Republicans.
The pharmacists. The 5 names I gave you are all Republicans.
Can you give the pharmacists' names again?
Hale, Haile, and McNally, McNally. Yes, ma'am.
Couple of points. God bless you for calling. My son has myoclonic epilepsy. My dad recently has been diagnosed with prostate cancer right now. My brother is in California with aggressive brain cancer right now. They give him 10 months to live. I'm happy to say he's on 25 treatment deep in heavy chemo radiation. He's on CBD in California and THC. Hasn't been sick, hasn't lost weight. So my dad, who's just been diagnosed, that lives with me, is begging me every day. And then I've got my son that's seizing. I'm on the waiting list for Realm of Caring. So my question is, you were saying that if we could get this passed, it would go pretty quick, because I've had to keep my son alive numerous times.
Well, if I said that, let me correct it. And this is another important point for you to share with the legislature. We are hearing from Republicans that they would, at this point, just prefer to discuss this bill next year, not this year. Our response to that is whenever the bill passes, it's going to take a full year to get medicine to any patient, because it's going to take us a while to gear this thing up. So if someone is telling you they'd like to wait until next year to discuss the bill, they're telling you they'd like to wait at least 2 years before any patient's access. That's why we say on our button, it's time, Tennessee. Now's the time to do this.
Just the one quick question was, are we going to have a list? So like, I could put my family on the list here in case we do get through.
No.
Are we going to have anything like that?
There's nothing in place at this point. Nothing at all in place. If this bill passes, I am sure that there will be farmers lining up to raise Charlotte's Web immediately.
Yeah,
But I'm also sure that there will be farmers lining up to raise a host of other cannabis varieties that have been approved. Everyone is so afraid of THC. I mean, this bugaboo, the psychoactive substance in cannabis. And yet, ironically, it's the only part of the cannabis plant that's been in a pill in this country for 40 years, a pill called Marinol. Because that pill has only synthetic THC, it doesn't have any of the other cannabinoids that actually buffer the high. So a patient taking just Marinol is going to get only the psychoactive substance right with nothing to buffer it. So, you know, and my other response to this concern about getting high, 2 responses. None of the medicines that our patients are on now lack psychoactive effect. They all have some psychoactive effect. Quite often with the opiates, it's to dope them into semi-consciousness. The little girl, little Millie Madison, is on a medicine that keeps her comatose 22 hours a day. And that's the solution, and her parents are paying $60,000 a month for that pharmaceutical solution. So the best description of the THC high that I like to put it in some sort of context. The best single symptom that medical cannabis has gotten you high is that you will have a, quote, enhanced sense of well-being, close quote. That's the description for the major effect of the high, an enhanced feeling of self, what did I say? Or something like that.
Well-being.
Sense of.
Well-being, that's what it is.
So Bernie, I've got a couple of,
Okay, what we need to do now, because we've got new people coming in, I've got the 11:30 briefing to do, so let's get your questions and then we'll break.
well, I was wondering where we were with Hensley.
Dr. Hensley again said last week to the media that he does believe cannabis has some medical benefits, but his concern was it being allowed to be used widely, and we think we've addressed that. Again, Speaker Harwell said the same thing. I know we're going to have more questions. Let me get you, and then we're going to break. And I do want you, if you come here today to hear this, don't leave without getting in legislator's office or 10 legislators' offices to talk about it. One last question.
Just a remark about Dr. Hensley, because I was also in that meeting, and I had the feeling that he was really scared of the fact, as a physician, how do I distribute that to my patients? Because how can I dose it? And that's probably why he is keeping that step back.
And that's why we're thankful that the Madisons came down and talked to Dr. Hensley and others about how the cannabis oil is dosed. Clearly, we have a medical community that will need to be trained about this, but that's not different than any other substance, and the training will be easy. I am so tickled to see more people coming. Please, those of you who are here for the first session, congregate in the hall. Please let this woman know who you're planning to go visit so that we can keep a record of that out in the hall. If you do not yet have a Cooser Coon button or pin, they're up here. And if any of you came to support the pediatric epileptic children, we have a button of Piper Cooser here that you can wear too. Want to save those for those families. But we also have a button up here that allows you to name this bill for yourself or for someone that you're here to speak for. So you can name the bill, as I will later today, the Jacqueline Patterson Medical Cannabis Act. But feel free yourself, if you're a patient, write your own name on here and wear the sticker today. If you're here representing a family member or something, right there. Thank you very much. Please don't go anywhere until you talk to her out in the hall. And those of you who just arrived, please stick around and maybe even come up closer to the